If you are experiencing foundation issues, get a free estimate from Ox Foundations.
And we're joined by Coach Jeff Bell, the head baseball coach at Sylacauga High School, brought to you by Collier Motors this morning. Today's the first day of Major League Baseball today.
Yeah, this one of my favorite days of the year. Like they always say, everybody's in first place today.
That's right. And you have a favorite team in Major League Baseball?
Yeah, I always grew up big Cubs fan.
Okay.
I spent my summers at my grandparents' house, and my grandmother would kick us out in the morning, tell us to go play. Then the sun would get real high and get hot, and Cubs didn't have lights then, so I'd come in.
That was a day, man.
It was. I would come inside and watch the Cubs every day with my granddad. So
listen to the voice of Harry Carey?
Yes. Yeah. Harry Carey and Steve Stone.
Oh, yeah, that was back in the day for sure. Cubs were one of the favorites to reach the World Series this year, so we'll see about that. Hey, good news for the Aggies late last week. You pick up a couple of good wins?
Yeah, we did. We had a hard-fought win against Benjamin Russell. I think it was 4-1. And as close as it was, though, I felt like we were in control of it the whole time. Kids play with a lot of life and a lot of energy. And we got off to a good start and just sort of, made every pitch and got big hits when we needed them. And then I think we carried that over into Friday and had a really good win against Childersburg. Which is probably our most complete game of the year.
You talked about last week. We talked about the pitching. You were a little concerned about it with some injuries. Obviously, they showed up Thursday and Friday.
Yeah, they did a really good job. Luke Vincent, he's a sophomore that we've thought all along has really good stuff. And he had his best outing. He pitched really good against. I think he threw 44 pitches in 4 innings.
Oh wow!
So that's sort of the definition of being efficient. Had a really good game. Everybody had a really good game that night.
13-0 over Childersburg in a game that was shortened, I think. 13-0, that's ringing up the board.
It in 5 innings, it is. We got off to a really good start. I think we had 5 in the first inning and got off to a really, really good start and just sort of carried that on inning after inning. I think we scored in every inning. So that felt good heading into spring break to sort of catch a little momentum.
Yeah, and people from this part of the state anyway know the importance of Sylacauga and Childersburg baseball.
Mm-hmm. It is. And definitely the rivalry's still there. It's sort of a friendly rivalry, though. It's not one where there's a lot of hatred, especially among the coaching staff and among the players. It's all people that get along, but it's sort of like... you always want to beat your friends or, beat your brother. It's sort of got that feel to it.
Yeah. You come off 2 big wins heading into spring break and a little lull here. Practicing this week, getting set for Saturday?
Yes, sir. We've been on the field every day. It was something that I sort of worried about, not having a tournament and getting a chance to play games.
And that's unusual as well.
There's very few schools that do it. We had to sort of out of necessity this year. But I tell you what, it's sort of been a blessing in disguise because the guys that were sort of at the core of our team that have been out with various injuries this year are almost ready to come back. I think an extra week off has helped those guys heal up so that I think we're going to go into area games hopefully fully healthy.
What kind of plan did you implement for spring break as far as workouts go?
The first couple of days, we're just going to kind of get out, move around some, really stress the hitting phase of the game. Now that we get towards the back end of the week, we're going to start touching up on some defensive things, really team defensive things that we need to be prepared for because we expect close games in the area games. And we need to take care of the baseball, whether it be fielding bunts or first and third defenses or for goodness sakes, if a guy hits a comebacker to the mound, we need to be able to get an out on that. But basically, just kind of tidy up some things defensively so that we're back in stride when we start back Saturday.
You mentioned hit back to the mound. Man, you got to be quick in your decision what you're going to do with it.
Yeah, it's something that hopefully all of our kids do. It's things that we talk about is to be playing the game. We've kind of told people before, you should be as tired mentally after a game as you are physically. If you're constantly thinking about, if this, then what? If the ball's hit to me, where am I going with it? I'll tell you, it was a scary moment during the Childersburg game the other day. We had Zach Dew hit a comebacker to the mound, and luckily the pitcher got his glove up in time. I thought it hit him in the face, ended up hitting the palm of his hand, but, the pitcher's the closest one to the hitter.
That's an isolated spot.
Hey, they come at you pretty quick sometimes.
Yeah. This weekend, what we got going on?
We've got a junior varsity doubleheader against Opelika.
Team you played earlier, right?
Yes, sir. And the score was fairly close, but we didn't play well. Offensively, we didn't play well. I think we match up pretty well with them, especially on the mound. And now that the bats are starting to wake up a little bit, we're really looking forward to it. It's a good game, again, moving up in class.
Some people ask, why do you do that early in the season?
I think it prepares the team for some of the challenges that are awaiting, during the area games and especially during the playoff games. As I've told people in the past, you could schedule 25 wins if you wanted to.
Looks good.
You could do it. It does look good. But I don't know that you would go into the games that really matter as prepared. I mean, we could be 10-2 right now and be ill prepared, or we can be 7-5 and have played really good teams, really close games, so that when you get under the pressure of the area games and the playoff games, which is a whole different kind of pressure, they won't flinch. It'll be something that they've been a part of, since game one.
Yeah. Jeff Bell, the head baseball coach over at Sylacauga High School, is our guest this morning for a few more minutes, brought to you by Collier Motors. Doubleheader Saturday, one ticket, one price, get you in both games?
Yes, sir. $5 gets you in for baseball all day.
And you talking about great food. They got great food at concession stands too.
Hey, they're one of the best. I don't get to spend as much time in there as I'd like to.
Sylacauga headed into area play soon, and what do you try to accomplish heading into area play?
We try to peak. By now, we have found, I think, the right lineup, the right pitching rotation, and that's what most of these early games in the season are. Not so much this year because we had a lot of players returning, but a lot of times you're having to mix and match to find out what the best lineup is, and then you're still continuing to work on the off days to just continue to improve, so that at this point in the year you want to be playing your best. And I think we are, at least. Well, we'll find out next week, but I think we're playing pretty well right now.
Whether it's a major league or college or high school, you have what is called really an exhibition season, and you try to prepare. Talk about some of the little things that can really be so important as you head into area play.
Well, but based on the schedule, we've played a lot of really close games, games that we've been down in and had to fight back in. And those are the little things that you can't see on a stat sheet that just prepare you for those games, because they're going to be, like I said, the pressure is going to be at a new level. But if we've played at that level and felt that pressure from first pitch of the season up until that point, then there is no a spike in the pressure. They're going to be ready for it, and it'll be just like another game to them.
Coach Jeff Bell, the head baseball coach, Sylacauga High School, our guest. And the Aggies, a doubleheader against Opelika, a team they played earlier in the season here at home this weekend. And, this JV game, do you get to watch any of that? Okay.
Yeah, a lot of times I do. It's in between, the sort of the administrative parts of the job that
right.
We're making lineup or making sure we've got baseballs for the varsity game, things like that sort of take your attention away for a little bit. But I get to see a majority of the games. Yeah.
Two, some people watching may not realize this morning, but you guys have to keep up the grounds as well and get the field ready and that kind of thing.
Yeah. Well, luckily we've got a good staff that takes most of that off of my plate. Nate does a good job of that. Barry Strickland does a good job of that. And, they're just finishing, handling their duties during a JV game. They go straight from, all right, the JV game's over. Now we get into field prep mode. And so it's a really smooth transition going from the JV game to the varsity game and having that field set up like it needs to be. And they jump on it. As soon as the game's over, they're out there working. And it takes a lot off my plate.
Quickly this morning, a couple of players that have performed well so far, and you're going to need those players as you head into area play.
Tyler Thompson's been everything we've expected on the mound. When he's on the mound, we know it's going to be a low-scoring game, so we're going to be in the game. Zach Dew in the last 2 games has played as well as he has all season. He's back into the form that he showed last season. And probably Jordan Ridgway has been our most consistent performer so far. He's had a really good year. We can count on him for a hit or 2 a game, a great defensive play a game. And if we need him to close one out on the mound, he's available to do that too. So those 3 are certainly right in the middle of who we need to accomplish things we want to accomplish.
All right, Aggie baseball doubleheader JV and varsity against Opelika over at Walton Cruz Field this Saturday. Coach, we'll see you again next week.
Hey, thanks a lot.
Coach Bell, show this morning brought to you by Kyer Motors in Sylacauga. More Daybreak just ahead.